We are traveling from Toronto to Colorado over the next few days, and I'm starting my 2-month road trip across the states. The end goal is the Southwest, California, and then I'll drive up the coast, leave my car in Vancouver, and then fly to Asia, fly somewhere for the winter. We'll see what happens. The plan is no plan, but that's the rough plan. And I'll be building my business and making content, filming everything along the way. If you don't know who I am, my name is Ethan Shaw. I own a business called Catalyst, which helps creators, freelancers, professionals make their first $10,000 digital product. And yeah, it's been a lot of fun. I have lots of cool clients. I'm very active on Instagram, but now I've decided to start focusing more on YouTube. I wanted to have a bit more depth in my content, in my community. So I thought, what better way to start filming this road trip? And now that's exactly what we're doing. Hopefully we make it. Hopefully you are entertained by some of the shenanigans that are going to happen in this video. I will try and make this as realistic as possible in this vlog about what I do day to day and what it's like to travel full time, because I've kind of just committed to that now. So, you know, we'll see what happens. And on the track, when I hated it. The goal of this trip is really to take the pace down, be a little bit more calm, spend a bit more time with myself, learn a lot, read a lot, and also work a lot. I have my solar panels, Starlink, all of that. So hopefully I'll have like some good deep work sessions in the forest and all that. So that's the goal. I was just thinking on this road trip, like what I want to be working on and what my next project is. And I think I want to really finish off my internal course. And then after that, I might just go on a content push and sales push. Yeah, I've been paying, $2,000 for my editor for probably since like April or March. And it is a pretty big expense. Like 2,000 USD is someone's salary. Like I can live pretty comfortably off of that. If you live like below your means, like you can definitely live off of that money. And I feel like it's been nice. It's been a luxury. I bought a lot of my time back. Like I've been able to just like really disconnect, but I almost became too disconnected from my content. I didn't really like resonate with my content all that much. This video that you're watching right now, I'm going to personally be editing, which is going to be really nice. Content creation is a sliding scale of like a hobby and business. And if you go all the way on the business side of things, you're only posting content for money. So you probably have a content system. You probably paid a coach or a mentor. You probably bought some courses. You probably invested in all this camera gear and have a studio and have a plan and a content strategy. And like the only purpose to be posting content, right, is to monetize and have it as a side hustle, which is totally fine. I do think it's a lot of work, and making money from your content is important. So hell yeah to the business side of things. And then on the other side of things is just a hobby. So that would be the type of person who posts once a month, makes a fun edit of their vacation, makes a cool video, shares a cool thought, doesn't make money, doesn't want to make money. It's literally just a fun hobby that they do. So then everyone is somewhere on this sliding scale. I stole this from Ali Abdaal, and I loved this like analogy and explanation of it. So I feel like I've been like really business heavy over here, and I'm just gonna dial it back a little bit because I actually think it's just way more fun, and it actually might make the business do better anyways if people actually know me, get to have a conversation with me, and all of that. I think it just checks a lot of the boxes. And this also goes for even my email marketing as well. So I was doing like 3 times a week on email for a few months there, and I might dial it back to 1 time a week, and that's going to convert in less sales, but my emails and line of work publicly will be a lot more meaningful. So that's kind of the thought process there. So I might also dial that back and just do once a week for email marketing, and just really like have a line of work that is truly aligned with my business, but also just who I am as a person, my personal brand. Basically tailoring my whole ecosystem more towards audience growth and keeping it a little bit more personal. So yeah, that's the idea over the next few weeks. We have just entered Colorado. It is day 3. I've been driving for like 4 or 5 hours today. And tonight we are gonna go through Denver and hit the mountains. And yeah, and then we're kind of at the destination. We're in the Rockies. Yeah, I'm gonna chill for a couple days. It's gonna be beautiful. I'm gonna get there at like 6:30 Colorado time. So it'll be just enough time before sunset to like scope out a spot and find somewhere to chill, which is going to be nice because like I definitely want more of a home base for a bit. I want to just spend a couple days and like really relax because I have been driving for the past like 3 days for like 7-8 hours a day. So yeah, I'm ready to work, ready to chill a little bit more. We are currently in the middle of absolute nowhere. Like it is just completely desert, grassland kind of thing, prairies, I guess you could say. I will see you shortly in Colorado, and hopefully we'll get some sick mountain footage. Hey friend, before we continue on with the rest of this video, I wanted to thank Artlist for sponsoring this video. Artlist just dropped a few specific features using AI to help you create way better content. And there's 2 things specifically I want to talk to you about and highlight because 1, it's brand new, and 2, it's going to save you a lot of time. Nano Banana, which is Google's most advanced AI image generator. You can now upload any image and completely transform it with just text prompts. Need a different camera angle? You can type it. Want to change the lighting or background? No problem. You can even blend multiple images into one scene. And the best part that's really useful is you can maintain the same character, format, style between each of these prompts and each of your creations. So you can have consistency across everything. For example, if you're creating new thumbnails for your YouTube channel, you can create all of these thumbnails using the same style and have them consistent without having to hire a thumbnail designer. Pretty cool. Veo 3, which is an AI generator inside of Artlist, so you can create those ultra realistic videos, all from text prompts or previous images. And you can also adjust all the different camera movements with the native audio to the clip. So this means you can make videos with music, ambient sound, or dialogue synced directly to the visual. It can understand camera terms like dolly zoom or low angle or tracking shot. And it's available as both text to video generation or image to video generation. Veo 3 is included in the AI Suite and Artlist Max subscriptions. And even better, your Veo 3 credits are also worth twice as much now. So you can create twice as much content for the same amount of price as you were paying before. And luckily, all of this AI content is super easy to use. Animate any image you want and just make it into a video. Artlist is the perfect all-in-one subscription and license to cover you and all of your video needs. I use Artlist for music, sound effects, AI needs, templates, video graphics, and even extra footage. So if you create any sort of content, it has everything you may need. I'll drop the link in the description of this video, and you can get 2 months free on any annual plan using that link. All right, back to the video. Thank you again, Artlist, for sponsoring this video. Okay, and we made it to Colorado. Yeah, this is a dream of mine to be able to really explore the world in this facet. I feel like it might come as a surprise to even some of my friends or even family. I haven't really expressed it too much because I've been living in the city in Toronto for the past like 5 years. And, I was hustling and all that. And the main goal of hustling, of working, was always freedom. I always knew that I wanted some autonomy in my life. And I was just kind of disconnected from uh, getting out of the city. So I ended up like not being too outdoorsy the past few years. So now I'm relearning it, and now I'm out here, and it's gonna be I'm just gonna be throw myself into it, I guess, and we'll see what happens over the next few videos and how this journey transpires. But you might be wondering, why is this all possible, and why did you do this now instead of 5 years ago if this was always the goal? And the answer is content creation. And now that I've been posting content for myself for 3 years and then taking content as a photographer for 5 or 6, I'm finally getting a really good grasp, and I'm able to sit down candidly and just talk to a camera and kind of explain it. One of the most important things in my life was creating leverage with my income. And you have a couple different types of leverage, right? You can have money leverage. So if you had investments of millions of dollars or multiple properties, you would get those to cash flow positive, and then you could sustain a life. I don't have a portfolio of millions of dollars yet. So that's not an option. And then you also have labor leverage. So if you could hire employees and kind of build a business that way, that could be an option. But that wasn't the end goal for me because, well, I knew I wanted to be autonomous. I knew I wanted to have flexibility in my life. And that's where like the digital leverage, the content leverage always stood out to me. And I was just figuring out how to do this over these few years. Is you can make one video and it can be watched hundreds of times. These videos get hundreds of watch hours, and it probably takes me about 5 hours to make. Maybe this one might be 10 hours to make because I'm having a bit more fun. I'm vlogging, I'm like doing my thing. But the point is that my 10 hours of work is now having an impact on hundreds of hours of watch time and hundreds or thousands of people. And that is why leveraged income is so important. So as long as I'm making leveraged income, I'm happy, I'm set, because I know my time is being multiplied. So the results from my time are being multiplied 10x, 100x, 1000x. So, maybe I'm only multiplying my effort, my value right now at 10x. But as I continue along this journey, it'll just be more and more and more. And then eventually, that's how you see all of these millionaires on the internet with no team just doing their thing. They're using the internet as leverage. So that's the first reason of why this is all possible is because of leveraged income. So it doesn't resonate with me trading my time for money, having a salary, having to negotiate a salary, getting paid by the hour, you clock in, you clock out, or maybe you're just getting paid by the year, and then it's kind of a hustle to see how much work you can do within the year. Maybe you have to stay late some days, or maybe you clock out early. It's kind of like a push and pull with your employer. And yeah, that kind of concept just never resonated with me ever since I even had my first part-time job like 6-7 years ago at a grocery store. I was earning like 12 USDs or like $15 Canadian an hour at a grocery store. I was a cashier for a little bit too long. It was like started in high school and then like till I was like 18. And the worst thing about minimum wage jobs is there's always work to be done. There's definitely this work for work's sake mentality because the managers or whoever, the big boss, is employing you, and there's always got to be something to do because they're paying you. So even in the grocery store, when there's no customers, you'd be stocking the shelves, you'd be sweeping the floors, you'd be cleaning. And it's just like such a shitty mindset because like refacing items that would just get messed up in like 2 minutes, but they were paying you, so it doesn't matter, right? And I get the whole like keeping the store clean, but the concept of it, the macro feeling of it, I absolutely hated. And I was like, there's a plane passing. Yeah, there's a few like catalyst moments back then when I was growing up where I was like, this is not it. Now with this YouTube channel, I am earning leveraged income. I can make videos like this and it's just going to continue to grow, continue to scale my impact. And then of course, because I'm not opting in for the other types of leverage, I'm fully remote, location independent. And you know, in future, I plan on settling. I would love, you know, a traditional like white picket fence with a family and all of that. As I'm 24 years old right now, I don't need that. I don't want that. That's not the goal. The goal is to fuck around, explore, learn as much as I can. And yeah, this lifestyle is allowing me to do this. And hopefully this lifestyle will continue. I think it will continue to scale to where I could buy a property if I wanted to, or I could start a business if I wanted to because I have an audience and I have income, I have cash flow. So if you wanted to start a business, you don't need to take on angel investors or other investors selling the control you have of your company, because now it's not your company anymore. Now you're again working for other people. So I think it's really important to have your own cash flow, your own distribution, and content also gives that to you. So there's a couple of reasons of why like content and social media is like the number one thing you can do, and why this is all possible, because you're leveraging your time with the internet. As individuals. It's literally the coolest thing. Then to work yourself up to becoming a creator, there's a few other things that I've done in the past to make this possible. Number 2 would be continuous learning and self-development. So you need to continue to learn skills, buying courses, buying coaches, going to school, doing stuff, learning, getting your feet dirty, getting your hands dirty, getting your feet wet, like jumping in to actually learn skills, to continue to open your horizon. There's obviously new skills being made that you would need to learn every single day, like AI, the internet, YouTube, the trends, social media, so many things. Even this road trip right now, like I have like solar panels and Starlink. That's how I'm going to be uploading this video. Like there's just so many things to learn. And honestly, you can just start by doing it. You can ask AI questions, you can watch YouTube videos about it, but until you start doing it, until you start really taking the time and giving yourself the space to continue to self-improve, self-actualize, to continue to learn, then you can really generate some crazy transformations in your life, which brings me to the third thing that you would need to make this all possible. And that would be to create a transformation for yourself. So once you can create a transformation for yourself, you've learned enough skills where that has now, you know, actualized in real life, and you can say, okay, I can do this. Now you have a skill in the marketplace. So now you can start your own business as a freelancer, as a professional, as a curator. So that was my first business as a freelance photographer. Is I eventually took enough photos, I practiced enough, I had a camera in my hands long enough, more than the average person, to then start selling my service. And I would show up and shoot for clients. I'd shoot e-commerce work. I'd shoot for brands. I'd shoot for a whole bunch of people. And I was a freelance photographer. And that was the start. And then that photography skill then slowly transitioned into content creation, and then social media trends and like social media strategy. And then that evolved now into like offer creation, online business, how to run a newsletter, a YouTube channel, how to connect everything together, how to get attention, how to position yourself correctly, how to have a strong brand so you actually stand out. Because yeah, the space is a little noisy. Not that competition matters. I think if you do your own thing, you will stand out. If you get good enough at what you do, competition doesn't matter. But you got to be good at what you do. So having that transformation for yourself will allow you to become a value creator. So then you can also inspire other people to have transformations in their own life. And now with the rise of AI content, I think it's going to be really important for more and more people to be paying attention to their own transformations, because the cost of actual labor is becoming very cheap or zero. So I'm glad I pivoted from my old photography business, because as soon as brands figure out how to make their own campaigns with AI, they're not going to hire me. They're not going to hire you. They're not going to hire anyone. The brands will do whatever's cheaper. And I don't blame them, right? It's whatever is cheaper. They may, however, hire a strategist, a consultant, someone to teach them how to use AI. So now all the dirty labor work is being replaced by AI, and now everyone's going to have to self-actualize to a point of they can create transformations within someone's business or someone's life. So you have like mindset and self-development, you have money, relationships, business, relationships, mental health, health and fitness, how to be more flexible, how to lose weight, how to gain muscle, whatever that is. You have like those, evergreen markets. So that's going to be more and more normal moving into the future, I think. And I think we're still just at the start of like this value creator economy, rather than all of this brain rot. It's like people just using a decentralized education system to learn how to do shit better than the average person, and then even getting AI to then replace the labor work, which then replaces freelancers and people that used to be doing these jobs, like writing, whatever else, is then going to be replaced. So then everyone ideally should be inspiring people, becoming value creators, creating that transformation for themselves. So yeah, I think that's really interesting. And that's what you would need to become a value creator, is eventually having your own transformation that you can talk about and make content about and other people would be interested in, And now my own transformation is teaching creators how to make their first $10,000 digital product. It's best suited for freelancers and professionals, people with a transformation in mind that need a formula and a system to get that out online, how to connect everything. Like if you've never made a YouTube video before, if you don't have a newsletter yet, how does that all connect? And that's really my job. And that's what I help people with on this channel, and with my clients as well. So it's been a really exciting time, but that's, a more realistic example of how, this is all possible, how like becoming a creator is possible. And, the last realization I had like setting up here is realizing that you don't need much to earn a full-time living as a creator. I have 2,000 subscribers right now at the time of recording this video. I have a lot of Instagram followers, but honestly, the engagement isn't that much. Like my true audience on Instagram is probably only 20 or 30,000 because I've just been doing this a long time. So if you have a couple thousand people watching you and enjoying what you do, that is enough to make multi six figures a year. And, it might like be hard to believe if you're not in the industry, but I know so many people, some of my clients have been earning multi six figures from an audience of like 2,000 or 3,000 followers. Some of my mentors, $100,000 in a month with like 2,000 or 3,000 followers. Like this is a pretty normal practice in the creator economy. And it really just shows the skills. So in my life right now, I'm just very grateful to be able to be living this life where you don't need much. You can package your ideas and offer in so many different ways. You can get paid in so many different ways as a creator. The most important thing that you would need to start is to just, you would just need to start to post content. I've been telling this to some of my clients, like you haven't started until you've made your first 100. Like I haven't really started YouTube yet. I haven't really put effort into YouTube yet. And just framing that idea and setting that expectation, it is very easy to become a full-time creator, to become a value creator. At the same time, you need to give it some time. It's a business. It takes 6 months of consistent work. Maybe if you had the right system and the right program, you can do that in 3 or 4 months if you're really dialed and everything's set. But it takes time, right? So you haven't started yet until you make 100 videos. And I think that's what a lot of people struggle with. is, they make 2 YouTube videos. And I get it. Those YouTube videos take 10 hours each. So you put, 20 hours, maybe 100 hours into content, and you're not seeing any like immediate results. But um, reframing that position is super important, because at the end of the day, if you put in the time, you don't need much to make this all work. It's more of that consistency game rather than like ultra virality. Because having a more authentic brand, which is why I'm making these videos longer, and all of that, like I don't need to go viral anymore. I just want to be able to connect with people that, appreciate what I do, resonate with me, resonate with my language, my style, my outlook on the world. And if that's something that interests you, that's probably why you're still here watching this video. So that's what I'm optimizing for now, is like that connection and communication. Um, so yeah, this video is probably getting long. I think I'm gonna end it here. Thank you, Artlist, for sponsoring this video again. If you want to work with me or learn more about what I do, you can follow me on Instagram, DM me 56, and you can see everything I do, just kind of all there in the chat. And if you want to learn a little bit more about my YouTube channel, you can click the link in the description, the first video there, and that kind of breaks down what I do, what keeps me busy when I'm not traveling and learning and doing all of that, living life, whatever. So yeah, all of that's there. You can DM me 56 on Instagram if you want to work with me. We can connect on Instagram, and you can watch that first video in the description if you want to learn more about what I do and all of that. So thank you so much for watching, and I will catch you in the next one. Peace.